In this presentation, we will look at the number one reason your body refuses to burn fat. Hi, my name is Vivian. This information you won't casually discover in magazines, on the internet, mainstream media, from your personal trainer, or even some diet books. So is it any wonder then that we have an obesity epidemic if 98% of Americans don't know the information I'm about to share with you? Now let's take Olivia for example. She is 35 years old and she's got a problem with her weight. In the morning she has a bowl of cereal with maybe some orange juice. Then for a mid-morning snack she'll have some sandwiches, and for lunch maybe a plate of pasta. In the late afternoon some muffins with maybe some coffee, and for supper she decides to make a lovely chicken curry with some bread and rice. Now it does seem pretty normal, doesn't it? It looks healthy, no excessive sugar. Now all of these foods contain carbohydrates, and a lot of carbohydrates. Now yes, the USDA recommends that we eat carbohydrates 45 to 65%, protein 10 to 35%, and fat 20 to 35%. Now these three are our macronutrients. Now let's have a look what happens if she digests these carbs. These carbs will be broken down into glucose, which is a form of sugar, and this glucose will enter the bloodstream. But now before I continue, I just want to mention that your liver and your muscle will first of all take up all the glucose, but they only got so much space. So if they fill up, they can take no more. Now for this presentation, I chose to use the muscle cells as an example. Now here we have the glucose and over here the muscle cells. Now if your body detects glucose in the bloodstream, the pancreas will secrete insulin. So in other words, if there's glucose, your insulin will go up. Now over here we've got our insulin, and insulin basically what it does in very simple terms, it acts like a key to open the muscle cells and it puts in the glucose. Right, so in goes the glucose. Now all of the muscle cells are full, they cannot take any more, but there's still some glucose in the bloodstream. Now there's more insulin, but here we go with the fat cells. Now the insulin is going to put in the glucose into the fat cells. Now remember, Olivia's eating carbohydrates during the whole day. So again, there's glucose. Again, insulin will put it into the fat cells. So this will repeat the whole time. So just to recap, glucose gets stored in the muscle and liver, and any excess will be stored as fat. Now that you know how fat is stored and why we gain weight, what can you do to burn the fat? Now, insulin is the problem. Insulin is the fat storing hormone. So we don't want insulin in our body. Obviously there will be a little, but we don't want these spikes the whole day long. And to avoid this insulin, you have to cut your carbohydrates. And I know the USDA is recommending a very high percentage of carbohydrates in your diet, but that's what causes insulin spikes. So remember, fat is insulin neutral. Fat will not spike your insulin, and moderate protein will not affect your insulin. You have to get your ratios of macronutrients right, because obviously the USDA is doing something horribly wrong. So your body has two main fuel sources. The first one is fat, and that is what we want to tap into because we want to lose weight. Now the second one is stored sugar, and that is what our bodies are doing if we continuously consume carbohydrates. They are using the stored sugar. So what it boils down to is this. If your body is a carb burner, it will never be a fat burner. For more information, please visit myivadiet.com.